Good morning, everyone. Let me start with a simple question. Do you have one free hour today? I don't mean an hour on your calendar. I mean, do you have 1 hour for yourself? Most people will say they're too busy. Busy with work, busy with meetings, busy with distractions. Consistency beats intensity. This principle is simple, but deeply powerful. In the world we live in today, people often chase fast results. They want to transform their lives overnight, become rich in a month, fit in a week, or a master in a new skill after one course. While these dreams are appealing, they often lead to frustration because real change rarely happens through sudden bursts of effort. True transformation happens when small, consistent actions are repeated over time. This is where the idea of dedicating just 1 hour a day comes into play. 1 hour a day may seem small. It may even feel like it won't make much of a difference. But that's only if we look at it through the lens of instant results. What most people fail to realize is that consistency has a compound effect. Just like interest in a bank account grows faster over time, the results of consistent effort multiply. 1 hour a day is 7 hours a week, 30 hours a month, and around 365 hours in a year. That's the equivalent of 9 full 40-hour work weeks. Imagine what you could do with that time if it was all focused on one area of growth: learning a language, mastering a software, starting a side business, writing a book. These aren't impossible dreams. They're just goals waiting for consistent effort. The human brain is wired to adapt. When you do something every day, even for a short time, it starts to become part of your identity. You begin to think of yourself as someone who reads, someone who writes, someone who improves. You no longer have to push yourself with willpower because habit begins to take over. But this only happens with daily action. Occasional intensity, a weekend crash course, a once-a-month brainstorm session can be helpful, but it doesn't build momentum. Momentum is born in daily movement. 1 hour a day allows you to stay in touch with your goals, keep your skills sharp, and your vision alive. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not loud. It often happens in private while others are watching TV or scrolling through their phones. Someone who understands this principle is quietly working, reading a book, practicing a craft, listening to a podcast, journaling their thoughts. These small efforts don't get applause in the moment, but over time, they separate people. In a year, they've learned something new. In 2 years, they've become more confident. In 3 years, they've changed the trajectory of their life, all because of that one quiet hour every day. People often admire greatness. They look at successful people and say, I wish I was like that. But what they don't see is the discipline behind the scenes. Most success stories are not built on one breakthrough moment. They're built on thousands of hours of showing up. 1 hour may not change your life today, but it will change who you become. And who you become determines the life you create. There's another reason why consistency beats intensity. Intensity burns out. It's emotional. You feel a rush of motivation and dive in, but motivation fades. Life gets busy. Emotions shift. When the excitement is gone, so is the effort. Consistency, on the other hand, is built on commitment, not emotion. You show up whether you feel like it or not. You honor the hour because you know it matters, not because you're excited that day. And ironically, by showing up even when you don't feel like it, you start to feel better. You build self-respect. You trust yourself more. You're not chasing a high. You're building a foundation. Many people say they don't have time, but time is rarely the issue. We all have the same 24 hours. The difference is how we use them. 1 hour a day is 4% of your day. That's it. Not 50%, not 10%, just 4%. It could come from waking up earlier. It could come from replacing one TV show. It could come from putting your phone down. When you look at it like that, the excuse of time becomes weak. The real question isn't, do I have time? The question is this important enough to make time for? Over time, the people who grow are not the most talented or the most intelligent. They are the ones who kept showing up. They learned a little every day. They improved a little every day. They built something slowly while others were waiting for the perfect moment. And when you look back a year later, you don't just see progress, you see transformation. That is the power of consistency. That is the power of 1 hour a day. Small daily actions create big shifts. This idea might sound simple. even too simple to matter in a world that praises massive achievements, big decisions, and loud results. But if we take a closer look at real change, change that lasts, that transforms not just what we do, but who we are, we begin to understand that it doesn't happen through one big move. It happens quietly, patiently, and often invisibly through small, repeated choices. These choices may not feel important in the moment. In fact, they often seem so small, they appear easy to skip. But over time, they're the ones that make all the difference. We live in a culture that celebrates the final result. We admire the person who loses 30 kilograms, the entrepreneur who builds $1 million company, or the student who graduates with top honors. But we rarely ask about the days they didn't feel like doing it, but still did. The early mornings when they studied, the workouts they pushed through, the moments they kept going without applause. Behind every big result, there are hundreds, sometimes thousands of small decisions that led to it. What we see as overnight success is usually just long-term effort, finally becoming visible. Small actions are powerful because they are easy to repeat. They don't require huge energy or perfect conditions. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to wait for January 1st or Monday morning. You just start. Maybe you read 5 pages of a book today. You write 1 paragraph. You take a walk. You learn 5 new words in a language. These are not dramatic acts. No one will clap for you. But these are the seeds. And when you plant a seed and take care of it every day, something begins to grow, even if you can't see it right away. People often get discouraged because they don't see immediate results. They say, I've been doing this for a week and nothing has changed. But growth is not always visible in the early stages. Just like a tree takes time to rise above the ground, personal growth takes time to show. The first changes happen inside. You begin to feel more focused. You build discipline. You start trusting yourself. These are invisible wins, but they are the foundation for visible success. And all of it starts with small daily actions. There's something deeply psychological about showing up every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. You send a signal to your brain, this matters to me. You begin to identify as someone who is consistent. You don't wait for inspiration. You don't need perfect motivation. You simply do it. And that act, repeated day after day, reshapes your identity. When you change how you see yourself, you change what you're capable of doing. Small actions done daily begin to change the way your brain works, the way you see time, and the way you deal with challenges. Many people think they need a big breakthrough to move forward, but breakthroughs don't happen in isolation. They come after a long period of showing up, learning, failing, and adjusting. One day, the result appears and everyone sees it. But the process that led to it, that's the part built on small daily choices. It's the person who practiced every day when no one was watching who gets the opportunity. It's the one who studied an hour every evening who passes the exam. It's the person who exercised daily without fail who reaches their health goal. The shift doesn't come from what you did once, it comes from what you chose to do every day. There's also something very freeing about focusing on small actions. You don't need to fix everything at once. You don't need to know the entire path. You just need to know the next step. That 1 hour you invest today might seem small, but it's a building block. You're creating a structure, a new rhythm, a new direction. When you break your goal into daily habits, it stops being overwhelming. You stop feeling stuck. You stop waiting. You take action, and action creates clarity. Clarity creates momentum, and momentum changes your life. The truth is, everyone has small pockets of time, moments where we can choose what to do. Most people waste those moments. They scroll, they delay, they avoid. But the people who understand the value of small daily actions see those same moments as opportunities. They use the time to grow. They read instead of watching another video. They write instead of waiting for inspiration. They move forward, one small step at a time. And those steps, though tiny, begin to change their direction. A small shift in direction, if repeated every day, leads to a completely different destination. Success is not one big decision. It's a series of small, smart ones, taken again and again. You don't need to be extraordinary to change your life. You just need to be consistent. You just need to respect the small things. Because in the end, it's not the big moves that define you. It's the daily ones. The ones no one sees. The ones you do when no one is watching. Those are the actions that shape your future. Those are the ones that bring the big shifts. So if there's one thing I hope you remember from today, it's this. You don't need a perfect plan, unlimited time, or a stroke of luck to change your life. What you need is 1 hour a day. Just one. Used wisely. Used consistently. Because real transformation isn't loud. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, quietly, through the small things you do every single day when no one's watching. Whether it's 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of building, or 1 hour of reflection, it adds up. It shapes your habits, your mind, and your future. You don't have to take huge leaps. Just take one step, then take it again tomorrow, and again the next day. That's how big things happen. Start today. Keep going. Be patient. Good luck on your journey, whatever it is you're working toward. You are more capable than you think, and 1 hour a day is all it takes to prove it. Thank you.